see my baby, well, one of many.
This baby is a block of 18 classrooms and 4 labs when one walks through the CMU main gate and turns right. An unplanned pregnancy.
It was a labor of love. It was an adventure. It was everything that you could throw at it in terms of adjectives. It was a nightmare at times.
The story is that the CMU had 400 students at Micro Teachers College.
They called us towards the end of May, June and said, your students can't come back for September because we need a space.
June?
June. And most people would have started building like 6 months before. So what we had was 400 students coming back and absolutely nowhere to put them.
They had 2 containers, and they had used containers to make buildings before by creating a kind of sandwich, like a burger. The burger bun is sheetrock.
So what we have here is sheetrock. Behind the sheetrock we have the 2x4 wood framing that is there to hold it. It is basically a sandwich, right? Between the sandwich then we have the containers. On the other side of the containers you would then have another 2x4, 2x2 frame, and then on the other, and on top of that, on the outside, which is the other side of this, we would then have another layer of sheetrock.
So you'd see this on the other side of the
container. On the other side.
But that's because you're inside the container.
Because we're inside.
In the case of a wall that is exposed to outside, what would this sandwich look like?
All right, the sandwich will be almost the same, but once it goes external, the outer layer, instead of having sheetrock, we would have plycem, which is much more resistant to water, any form of weathering, than the concrete board would have been.
So, with 2 containers, they figured 2 classrooms.
It would have been insufficient, but at the time, that was what we could think of being possible. And then I work for somebody who believes that impossible is just not a word.
She means CMU President Fritz Pinnock. He called a meeting one afternoon. They said, okay, who are we going to ask for help?
So we started writing down a list of partners who we could beg things.
Then someone would get on the phone and make the call.
We were calling out names. We were at the same time typing out the letters. And so as soon as we finished one, we emailed it off.
Seaboard Marine gave containers. Kingston Wharves waived clearance fees and transported them for free. Elaine figured they could get to 8 classrooms.
Then Dr. Pinnock walked across and said, but where is the space? Where will it be space? And I go, oh Jesus, he's not doing this again, right? So we dug the foundation for another 8. And we begged some more containers. At least we had the containers, right? So by then we realized that we have a serious problem now because containers alone won't do it. So we started begging again. We got to a point where it wasn't that we were begging money anymore, because begging money is hard. We literally got to the point where we said, if you give us 200 bags of cement, we'll be happy. And people were giving us 200 bags of cement because they saw we started.
Elaine may be the mother of buildings, but raising Block C was a real family affair.
And the construction workers were awesome too, because, don't tell anybody this, we weren't paying them standard rates. We sat with them and we said, look, this is a begging thing. This is what we can pay. And they came on board.
2 shifts per day.
2 shifts?
2 shifts.
You're running all day?
All day, all night. The great thing about it, we get somebody to cook. So they get 3 meals a day. So they get meal in the morning, they get a lunch, they get a supper. So they didn't have to leave the site to get in the food. I
would be here in the days and we would be doing the normal project management, making sure that the supplies were there, making sure that we were completing the task. And then at the end of the day, I would head to PriceSmart to go shop.
And like member staff would come and decide we're going to do some, make some bread pudding one at a time. I mean, and the guys were so excited.
That must have been some bread pudding.
We did what was considered the impossible. We put up this structure in 73 days.
When you walk in now and you come inside the building and you see this, how does it make you feel?
I mean, it's an heartfelt moment. And then when I'm by myself or with the company and I hear that we did it in 73 days, I'm like, wow, all things are possible. I mean, all things are possible.
It was a family effort. It was all hands on board. It was really a group effort, and I've never worked on any other project like this in all my life, and I've worked in some amazing projects before this one, but this one was, yeah, this one will go down in the books.